something was indicated in the unified field, and it could give us opportunity to what we said before, maybe say it better. To gives us, but we didn't get the yellow number. One thing that we were sort of reminded of is that one of the most, I mean, this is really, sort of speculate on why they're doing it, but a lot of our major corporations that have that already pay the workers. You can't imagine American workers being paid that little. It's like something that would, I mean, you can't live on it. It's like something that would go on in another kind of country. But what they're doing now is that they're having the employees be drug tested for things like marijuana. Trying to think of the motivation. It's not because they're, I mean, trying to think the way of cutting way of cutting back the workforce. I mean, I don't know why they're doing it, but it's going on in a number of places by major corporations. They're starting to employees that there isn't a lot of work in the country to begin with. The jobs offered by these like major like retail outfits and stuff like they'll pay people what are they're really poverty wages. I mean they are, and there's no benefits. Okay, and now they have to take drug testing for marijuana and things. People losing their job that they couldn't live on that money anyway, and there really isn't much work, and they're losing their jobs because they tested positive for marijuana. I mean, that to me, you have to have no conscience. So this is recently in place. So this will be going on, as Christmas approaches. I think the mentality at the top, but that has to stop. But the fact that it's not being talked about, like that's not in it's not in. I mean, it's not being spoken about. We could tie that in with what we tried to talk about before. Maybe we could do it better, which is this. When we made our video indicating that whatever the Republican Party is doing, that people should be aware that, number one, we don't have a legitimate political right or a legitimate conservative political party in the country, and they haven't moved farther to the right. That's not what they've done. That's not what they're doing was never a genuine political right in this era, and definitely not right now. We'd love to have some kind of a genuine political right. We don't have one, and they haven't moved further towards it. But what we added to that in the other video is that there is no political left, and there's no any form of media doesn't speak for any political left. That is, it's simply false to say that the New York Times is like that's the paper you read if you're on the left. No, it's not. It's not at all. Did we do something wrong? That's what we were saying in the other one, and then we were signaled about this thing. But I'm saying, well, no. I mean, is that you don't want this to be a video? That's what the other one was about. You sort of stopped loading the other one, and we didn't get the yellow number, and something happened in the unified field that brought up this issue. But it should be in papers like the New York Times, if the New York Times, but or it should be on the parts of the media system that claim to speak for the political left, but there is no right and there is no left in this country in a genuine sense. You do not hear anything about wages or workers or the striking of all the fast food restaurants is only it's not reported, it's not supported by like editorials in any of our papers or anything. There's sort of pain. Am I out of step with the unified field? I put this thing up here because did we do something wrong? Did we do something wrong? There's no political right, there's no political left. There isn't. There are two parties that are. But I mean, wonder what we did. I'm not gonna chance getting in pain in a unified field. I thought that's what people say things when they pass you. I thought that was the best way to interpret it, is it's a clue about something you could put in a video. I think it's morally insane to be at retail outfits that employ that many people when aren't many jobs. They're employing people, no benefits, basically poverty wages. No one can support a family on that. They can't, and no one can organize. You can't. I mean, any attempt to organize would be broken the way they always are, by threats of just firing everyone. Now they're drug testing for things like marijuana, so tons of people are losing their jobs. And remember, unemployment insurance, the extension that was passed during the economic crisis, because the economic crisis, from the standpoint of the congressmen and political class and media who are in the investor class, the crisis has passed from their perspective. Market's doing well. For that reason, they perceive that right around Christmas, when the extension of unemployment insurance expires, they are not going to renew it. That's not a problem anymore. Yes, it is. Unemployment is like there's a mass unemployment. Should it be a rational thing to do? We extend unemployment insurance. They're not doing that. So all the people being fired at all these retail outfits, which is a lot of people because they tested positive for marijuana, they're not going to be able. There's unemployment benefits are being scaled back. So are food stamps. We mentioned in the other video that economists who will want to keep their mouth shut, who work for like the Heritage Foundation, have made statements that are appearing in all the press, that like the National Review and stuff, and editorials saying based on studies, there's no problem with scaling back food stamps because there's other kinds of federal aid available, even though there's not. So that's but I don't want to be out of step at the unified field.